Video games. So this video is a continuation of the last one. That video was all about how I feel video games and reading in general give you a far better experience than film in terms of consuming and experiencing a story. By that, I simply meant that with film, you're just given a story on a plate. You can't choose what you want. It's just made by the director, by the producer, and handed to you. With video games, you have so many open possibilities and open worlds and characters and personalities that you can dive into and explore. Dive into your own imagination and create these people, these scenarios. Everybody looks how you want them to look, and the environments are exactly how you see them in your head. So as a continuation to this, I want to talk a little bit about my video game experience, and not in the I'm a gamer and I love Call of Duty, Call of Duty's the best video game ever kind of sense. It's more like I have been playing these things since I was 7-8 years old. I have a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy, Nintendo 64, a GameCube. All of these things have given me years and years of experience and years of storytelling that I think have been the catalyst for my creativity and my ability to sit and tell a story the way that I am now. The first video game I ever played was Pokemon Red. Now that story alone was fantastic. You had the freedom of raising your own Pokemon and raising your own team and fighting to be the best. You could choose your path, you could do whatever you wanted, and that open world flexibility was fantastic. It was the first time I'd ever just sat down and been like, yo, I can do anything in this game. It's amazing. Then I got into The Sims. Sims 2, I think, was the first one I ever played. Sims 3 had the most creative, mind-blowing
shiitake mushrooms.
Sims 3 was the bomb. Anybody who played it, anybody who knows how popular it is, knows that Sims 3 is a fantastic game. And I I spent so many hours of my life on that game, and I dedicated everything I had to learn more about it and learn how to create a better house and better scenario and better jobs and better this and better that. Then move on a couple of years and you had Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, some of the biggest video game franchises ever made. Call of Duty putting you on the front lines and saying, you know what, here you go, there's your experience. And you know you're not going to get harmed, of course you do. You know you're not going to get shot by a bullet or have blown up by a grenade, but it still gives you that adrenaline, it still makes your heart pump. With Grand Theft Auto, it's like, you're not going to become a criminal in real life. My nan used to sit there and tell me that I couldn't play these video games because it was going to affect me, and I tell you what, I've done some horrific things in video games, and I still consider myself relatively sane, he says, talking to a camera. Then we had other games like The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And then you got the latest games like CSGO and Minecraft. The reason I feel like gaming is such a massive part of my life, and a thing that so many people take for granted, is because of the experience you get from it. Video games aren't just a sit down, play a couple of games, you're being entertained, shooting a couple of things for a couple of hours. It's not like that. Video games are an art form. They're a way for developers and creative people, much like myself, to be able to sit down and say, you know what? We wanted to create an entire world. We wanted you to see our vision, but we want you to still have that freedom of doing whatever the fuck you want to do in it. With movies, it's like, okay, we want to create this world, we want to create these characters. Think of the Avengers. It's all based in New York, the Avengers Towers, how they want it to look. Iron Man is how they want it to look. They're bringing all these fantastic, amazing characters from the comics over to the cinematic universe, and they're making it a fantastic, beautiful story for people to go and experience. But there's no flexibility. With video games, you're given the Stark Tower. You're given the opportunity to change it and make it how you want. You're given the opportunity to implement Iron Man the way that you want. You can add different armor pieces. This isn't an actual game, this is just a metaphor for what gaming can do in comparison to... But do you see the difference? How much more of an experience you can get with video games than you can with films. My girlfriend is going to give me so much shit for all these hand movements. Like, she tells me off in every single video. It's expressive. Now, I know that video games can just be a form of entertainment. Of course they can. Like Call of Duty Zombies. It's one of my favorite video games and what is it, a franchise? Side quest? It's one of the things I love most to do when I got some spare time. There's no purpose, really. There's a story you can follow, but it doesn't really take you anywhere. There's not much flexibility in terms of what you can do, but that in itself is a great form of entertainment. And there are many other games like it. Video games are meant to be fun. They're meant to be a way for you to sit down, chill out, have fun, experience whatever. Yeah, it does that. But there's so much more to it. I don't believe that I should force an opinion. Everybody has their own. But anybody who's ever doubted how much of a fantastic experience you can get from picking up an Xbox controller, chucking on an open world game, I implore you to do so. To anybody watching this video, if your parents don't believe in video games, get them to watch this. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about video games as a whole, and video games being an art form specifically. I believe that my opinion is biased as somebody who has had that ongoing experience with video games for many years. As somebody who's born in the 21st century, I feel like that's just something that I was brought up to experience. Anyway, that's today's video. Let me know what you think about everything that I've said, and leave a couple of comments. Subscribe for more videos coming out soon. Next week is going to be a pretty cool one. Thank you for watching.